Hey, what's going on? It's Inventor here, with my Ice Shards Sorcerer in Diablo 4 Season 8. I just cleared Pit 55 to unlock Torment 4, so I wanted to share my build with you in case anyone was struggling to reach the endgame with Ice Shards. In this build overview, I'm going to cover my character, abilities, progression, and other relevant information. So, first, I'll talk about my gear. Starting with my weapon, ancestral weapons are a must have in Torment, ideally with intelligence as the greater affix. For my weapon, I used Aspect of Piercing Cold to make my ice shards pierce and to up their damage. My gloves had GA on crit chance, and I imprinted Frozen Memories to boost my key passive. And then for my amulet, I got this sick amulet with Edge Masters for more damage. It's not ancestral, but has great rolls. For my first ring, I'm using Conceited to get more damage, and my second ring is a high roll on Taloop for a lot more damage. Shifting away from offensive item slots, I was running Yen's Blessing here, mainly for the all-res. Sorcerer gets plenty of all-res from Paragon nodes, but this helps me reach the 70% cap even on Torment 4. To hit the cap, as you can see here, because I haven't actually reached 70%, I just need to pop my incense, and I would cast a skill to trigger potent warding. Now, the thing is, the reason why these aren't green numbers is because once I pop the elixir, or the incense in this case, the cap actually goes from 70% to 72%, but that's all the better for me. Yen's also gives all stats and pops one of my defensive skills from time to time, which is nice too. Now, when it comes to the defensive item slots, I had these legendary pants. The cap I wanted to reach was 1000 armor, so these pants were a massive source of armor via Juggernaut's aspect. On top of that, I got armor from the affix on my pants and the 3 skulls in my jewelry. As for my chest armor and helm, for my chest armor, I used Raiment because it boosts my damage through ranks of glass cannon. But of course, for my helm, I was running the new sorcerer unique for this season, Hail of Varglas, which not only has 4 very useful affixes, but changes the nature of this entire build. Without it, my ice shards would look like this. And with it, my ice shards look like this. Essentially, Hail of Varglass's unique effect turns ice shards into a shotgun that shoots out your attack in a cone and increases its damage too. So yeah, Hail of Varglass pretty much makes the entire build. Now, going over boss powers, I have Grigor's Lightning Square as main power, Hatred's Embrace, Outlaw Sharpshooters, and Cinerats as side powers. I would prioritize ranking up all powers to rank 11 first, then max out main power first, Hatred's Embrace second, Cinerats third, and Outlaw Sharpshooters last. And there are other options too for both the main power and the side powers. I could have used Wandering Death's chest beam for the execute, for example, but this setup got the job done. So in my abilities, starting off with the skills, I'm not going to go over everything in my skill tree. Just know that Avalanche key passive got reworked this season and is much better now. It grants mana cost reduction on frost skills with 60% multiplicative damage and goes up with Frozen Memories aspect, at least the damage increase to vulnerable enemies, as you can see from the aspect itself. If we go over the rest of the skills real quick, just so you can kind of see how I developed the character. I started off with Frostbolt as my basic skill here, and I set that as my enchantment so I get more chill. Then I do have 1 point into Fireball. I could throw this into somewhere else. Previously, when I was leveling from 1 to 60, I was using Fireball as my second enchantment, just so that I could get more AoE. But once I unlock the Paragon legendary node called Enchantment Master, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I think it was this one. Yeah, so Enchantment Master here gives me more damage if I use 2 enchantments from the same element as the skill I'm trying to use. So in this case, I'm using Frostbolt as my first enchantment and Ice Shards as my second enchantment. But back when that wasn't a thing in my level 1 to 60 journey, I was just using Fireball so that when monsters die, they would explode. Of course, I've maxed out Ice Shards because that's my main skill. You can see that the mana cost on it is extremely low. This is due to the key passive. And then I have like Potent Warding, Elemental Dominance here. Potent Warding, again, this gives me 15% all resistances, and that's what's helping me reach my cap. In terms of the skills that I'm actually using actively, there's a Flame Shield, Teleport, Ice Armor, and Frost Nova. You can see all of those skills are on the defensive skills tree. I didn't bother picking up anything from Conjurations. And I grabbed this cluster of passive nodes because these all boost my damage. And I also have Deep Freeze as my ultimate skill. It'll grant me barrier, and then when I use it, it makes monsters vulnerable and resets the cooldowns of my other skills, and also grants me damage, like 25% damage for 5 seconds when it wears off. So all of that is really helpful when I activate Deep Freeze. Never mind the fact that it's also a nice get out of jail free card in case I'm surrounded by a big group of monsters. So that's for my skills. Then if we talk about the Paragon board, I spent 183 Paragon points on my Paragon boards, which is roughly Paragon level 150. I used 5 boards, which includes the first board, which is the starting board, right? And 4 other boards in which I picked up all of their legendary nodes first. Keep in mind that if you had like 250 Paragon points, your Paragon board would look completely different. But while I'm still leveling, I prioritize getting the legendary nodes first before I try to go for the glyphs, because the glyphs themselves haven't even been leveled up yet aside from Destruction. Well, and Eliminator, but I haven't gotten the legendary bonus on it. Yeah, you can see here Elementalist is only level 16, Unleash is level 15, and later I would want to use Tactician as my 5th glyph, or one of the other glyphs, but I haven't even gotten enough Paragon points to unlock a 5th glyph. So as you can see, I have 5 boards, 4 legendary nodes, and 4 rank 15 glyphs with secondary bonuses active. With Destruction as the sole rank 46 glyph that I have right now, I prioritize Destruction first because it gives a ton of critical strike damage. Obviously, critical strike damage is extremely helpful, considering that right now my crit strike chance is nearly 100%. It would reach 100% if I used any of my skills with a cooldown, or, well, I mean, this is something that stacks over time. You see that if I use Ice Armor, then I use Frost Nova, then I use Flame Shield, and then I hit Teleport, then now I have a max crit strike chance. And that's why I'm using Yulgar as the runes here. Of course, I could shift around the runes too, but this is just what I had available. in my runes that I decided would actually be the most useful. So that kind of covers it for my Paragon boards. And then finally for Mercenaries. Now, when it comes to Mercenaries, Rahir is always a safe bet if you need armor or resistances to reach the cap. But I used Subo over Rahir since my resistances and armor are already maxed, at least with the incense. And Subo's passive is, in my opinion at least, more useful than Rahir's temporary damage boost when I'm running the pit. So Subo's mercenary perk is that he reveals everything in the area, and so I can use that knowledge to my advantage when I'm going through the pit, because I can see all the monsters on the mini-map, so I know where I need to teleport to and which monsters I need to prioritize. I also have Aldkin as a reinforcement. I use his Field of Languish, and I tie it to when I get hit with a control impairing effect. So essentially, when I get CC'd, he'll trigger a Field of Languish, which slows monsters and reduces their damage by 20%. So that helps keep me alive. And lastly, at least going over my character and the equipment I used before I attempted Pit 55 to unlock Torment 4, I have elixirs and incense. So, as I had mentioned before, I already used the Soothing Spices incense, so that's where some of my resistances and armor are coming from. In fact, with that, I boosted my armor up to the cap. But I also have Elixir of Fortitude. This gives me more max life. So now it's up to 4,162. And then if I use this Spiral Morning, it boosts my stats up. So this also helps me reach some of the bonuses that I would get if my stats are higher. And then I use Redamine Buzz to boost my life by additional 750. And then, of course, I have a bunch of percentage max life modifiers that extend that, or that increase that 750 life I gain to however much I get. And then now I have over 5,000 life. The Potent Warding passive, like I mentioned earlier, helps too, because with it, you can see, oh yeah, and with the incense also boosts my intelligence, which increases my resistance to all elements. So with Potent Warding and the incense and elixir, this gets me up to the cap. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is my progression from level 1 to 60 and then Torment 1 to 4. Basically, what I did was I unlocked Aspect of Piercing Cold first from a dungeon. I can't recall which dungeon it was. I just marked it on the map with the Codex of Power, and then I ran there first thing when I made this character. Then I spammed Apparition Incursions, which are the new reskinned Legion events for the season, all the way up to level 60. When I reached Torment 1, I started off by killing Grigor to use his ability as my main power. So you can see here, Grigor, you can find him just south of Ked Bardu. And something you should know that I'm not sure everyone is aware of, you don't need to have Living Steel or any boss mats to fight the boss anymore. You can fight the bosses whenever you want. You just need the boss mats to open the chest or the item rewards at the end of the fight. So in this case, if you want the boss powers from any one of the bosses, you can just go into their respective layers. Like, let's say, like in this case, oh, okay, I guess I can't teleport over to Lilith's. If you look at my boss powers, you'll see that I've unlocked all the boss powers except for Lilith's, right? If I wanted, I mean, if Lilith like worked like the other bosses and there was like some boss material to summon her or to open the chest at the end, well, I could just fight Lilith directly, and as long as I defeat her, I actually get her boss power. I don't need boss mats for that, so that helps a lot. So that's why I started off by going to kill Grigor. That was a pretty easy fight. with the preparation, or the level of preparation I had going into Torment 1. I was able to kill Grégoire right away to use his ability as my main power, and then I leveled it up to boost my overall damage output so I could comfortably clear Torment 2. In Torment 2, I ran a whole bunch of bosses to get all the uniques I wanted. One of the benefits to running Apparition Incursions, even in Torment 1, or I think it's Torment 1 onward, I don't think you get boss mats before Torment, but yeah, if you run Apparition Incursions from Torment 1 onward, sometimes they'll actually drop you boss mats as one of the rewards. Another thing that you can do is that if you go to Tarsarak, right, and assuming that you've done the first quest of the seasonal quest line, which I did before I started spamming incursions, then you can actually get some boss materials. If I go to Tarsarak, I can show you from the reputation board, and I think that no. When you do the reputation board, it is per character. So if you make like a brand new character, each of the new characters that you make can go through the Unveiler's Oath reputation board. So you can see here, when I made it into Torment, I was able to turn in, I think it was this one. Yeah, you see here at ranked or tier 10, I unlock this unique reputation cache, which contains lair boss summoning materials. So I picked up some materials from there, I picked up some materials from the incursions, and I picked up materials for boss summoning materials from these Tributes of Titans. I ran a couple of these to try to get the one or the uniques that I was looking for. So in this case, I was looking for Tal Loop, Raymond's, and Jens. And when I ran the bosses, I was able to get all the uniques that I wanted, aside from Hail of Varglass, and I'll talk about that in a second. But in Torment 3, my priority shifted to leveling my glyphs up to rank 15 or greater, and running Infernal Hordes for Obdicite to masterwork my equipment all the way up to rank 4, as you can see here. Funny enough, like I was just saying, I didn't get Hail of Varglass until just before I reached Torment 4, and then Urivar dropped it. Although Grégoire can drop it too, let's just say that he was being quite stingy. So to summarize, from level 1 to 60, I spammed incursions. In Torment 1, I prioritized boss powers. In Torment 2, I grabbed my uniques. And in Torment 3, I leveled my glyphs in the pit. And then masterworked all of my gear. That all got me to Torment 4 just fine. Anyway, that's all from me. I hope this helps you folks. Thanks everyone for watching, and venture out.